Now that we have the basics of a circular doubly linked list with a sentinel, I realize that's a mouthful. I'm going to start calling it a doubly linked list now, just to sort of I don't have to keep repeating that over and over again. So we have the basic data structures, we have the node class and the doubly linked list class. Now let's start building the functionality for insert, append, delete, and find, and access, because that's what we know are the operations that we're going to want to carry out. All right, so let's start with insert. Let me just start off just sort of conceptually what we want to do. So again, I have a doubly linked list. Notice the forward and backward links, next, previous. Notice the circularity. The last item points to the first item points to the last item, and then the first item is the sentinel, which simply means there's none in the data field, and that is not actual data. The data starts at the first node, which is what the sentinel points to, and then the second node and the third node, and then when we wrap around, we know we're at the end. We've gotten back to the sentinel. So let's say I want to insert a node C after the node B. So let's just think through the logic of what we have to do. We've got to sort of wire everything up. So notice again that once I've identified where I want to insert something, I don't care how many nodes are to the right, I don't care how many nodes are to the left, that is not my problem. I'm simply going to inject something into here. So let's see what that's going to look like. So let me just start by stretching out the list so I have room to put a node here. So I want to put a node C into the list. So obviously I have to create a node with C in it. That's that right there. And now what do I want to do? What does it mean for C to be inserted? It means B should point to C and C should point to D. So I have to take that next connectivity and have it B move it to C, and then C should point to D. And then, of course, since this is a doubly linked list, I have to do the reverse. The previous D should move from B to C, and C's previous should be B. So there's 4 rewirings that I have to do, and we have to do it in order, right? So, for example, if I take the next of B and I connect it to C, I've lost this. It's fallen off. Similarly, if I take the previous to D and I connect it to C, I don't know who's there. So we got to be a little careful that the order we do this in. So here's how the order we're going to do it in. I'm going to wire up C to its neighbors. So I'm going to say C.previous equals B. I'm going to say C.next is equal to D. So notice that in this sort of intermediate step, the list is still what it was originally. If I follow the next, I go from sentinel to A to B to D. And if I go backwards, I go from D to B to A. The fact that C is in here pointing to you doesn't care. If the list doesn't point back to you, you may as well not exist. You can point to them all you want, but if they're not pointing back to you, you don't exist. When do you exist? Well, when the neighbors start pointing to you. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So notice, though, that at this point, I know who the previous is, the next is going to be, and I know who the previous is going to be because I have hooks into them through C. So I've hooked them into them. I've got their names. And now I've got to wire everybody up. So I'm going to take the B's next and point it to C. So that initially was here. I'm going to move it to C. And then, of course, the D's previous is going to move from B to C. And at this point, I'm fully wired up. Okay? Notice again the runtime complexity. This is big O of 1. Once I've identified where I want to insert an element, all I have to do is make 4 connections regardless of how many nodes are on either side of me. That's nice. That's going to give us that big O of 1 runtime complexity for insertion. All right, let's go ahead and actually write the Python code to do this now. So this is going to be a member function of the DLL class. Why the DLL class? Because this is operating on the list. It's not a node operation, it's a list operation. So the object here is going to be the list, the whole list. X is going to be the node that we want to insert after, and data is what we want to shove into that new node. Okay? Now, I could have had this function take an entire node. I had to take data. There's no right or wrong answer here. That's just how I wrote it. So it takes a data field. The first thing we're going to do is create a node for it. Right? Obviously, we have to create a node. So I take data and I call the node constructor, and Y now is the new node. Okay? So notice that X is what I specified to be where I want to insert after. Y is the node that I just created, and I'm going to assign Z to be x.next. That is the current next node in the doubly linked list. All right, so now I have the 3 hooks that I need. I know what the previous one is, I know what the new one is, and I know what the next one is. And now I just have to wire everybody up, but in the right order, of course. So let's be careful again. So the order is, let's wire Y into the list, and then we'll connect everybody in that direction. So let's go ahead and do that. So what is this? Y dot previous is equal to X. Here is Y. Its previous, which was previously none, is equal to X. Good? Y dot next is equal to Z. So I've hooked myself into the list, but the list doesn't know about me. So that's what the last two lines are. X dot next moves to Y from Z, and Z dot previous is equal to Y instead of X. And now you can see the picture here is I have a fully connected doubly linked list. And again, notice the runtime complexity of this algorithm. There's no looping construct here. Now, there's an assumption that you know where to insert. So how did you find that? Not my problem. But once I tell you where I want to insert, the runtime complexity is big O of 1 because I simply have to create a node, make 4 connections into and out of it, and I am done. Good. Remember when we did the singly linked list, insert was also big O of 1 because you tell me where you want to go and you insert it, for example, at the front of the list. But to get to the append, I had to go all the way to the end of the list. Well, in a circular list, getting to the last element of the list is trivial because I have a pointer to it in the sentinel. So the sentinel, the previous points to the last element. So for append, for a doubly linked list with a sentinel and circular, append is trivial. I ask, what is the last node? It's self.sentinel, that's this, dot previous. That gives me the last node in the list, and then I simply call my member function insert after using the last node and whatever data I want. So append takes as input the data, I find the last node, and then I call insert after. And this, of course, is also big O of 1. That's one line of code, and we've already established that that's big O of 1. So now with the circularity, I don't have to worry about finding my way to the very end of the list. All right, good. So we have insert and append in a doubly linked list with a sentinel and circularity. And again, that circularity is just that convenience that you can get to the very end from the very beginning. It could have been doubly linked list without circularity, and it could have been doubly linked list without the sentinel. This is just sort of the one data structure that has those 3 main parts that are optional. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to do some more doubly linked list operations, and then eventually what we're going to do is wind our way all the way back to the beginning and do a full-blown complexity analysis to compare ourselves to a standard list and make some decisions on when we should use a linked list and when we should not. All right, so we'll pick it up when we come back.